What is up, everyone? JD Geeks here. Today, we are talking about the brand new Boxer Pro from Walmart. This blaster is from Adventure Force, which is only sold at Walmart and retails for about $80 US. This blaster may seem expensive, but it has a ton of really cool gimmicks with it. It has a fully collapsible and extendable stock, comes with front and rear iron sights, comes with 150 round belt chain, and you can buy extra ones of these on Dart Zone's website in order to get a longer chain if you would like. It comes with a bipod that has rubber tips at the end for good grip, and it also comes with a little ammo can box. This box actually catches the chain a lot, and it actually makes it worse, in my opinion, but it is a pretty cool feature to have. So this belt right here, it just pops right out, and there's just like that. And then there's a little tab on the very bottom of this blaster right here, and you just take it and you slide, pull down on this orange bit, and then that box is on there. But you can very easily remove it as well, which will stop a lot of jams from the belt getting caught up in the box. My buddy did purchase this blaster. This is not my blaster, but it is very, very cool, except for that ammo box, in my opinion. I know a lot of other YouTubers have also had that issue, so that is a very common issue. And if you do like the look of it, that is very cool, but if you want the functionality, I would recommend taking the box off. This belt right here, as I said earlier, is a 50 round belt. My buddy did say he was able to do something really cool with it, with a feature that I will talk about later. But that about actually wraps up my brief overview of the blaster. So let's jump right into opening up the battery compartment. So a little side note on the Boxer Pro as I show you guys the internals of the battery compartment. So there is one screw here on the outside of the battery compartment, and once you unscrew that, it will expose the battery tray. You can then see these two little screws right here. If you unscrew these screws, you can actually get this blaster to reveal an XD30 connector, which is a very, very cool feature that Dart Zone has incorporated in its past few blasters, like the Vector Pro, and I've seen some mods for the X-Shot piston pump to change it into an XD30 connector. But the Vector Pro and the Boxer Pro just coming with XD30 connectors is a huge, huge benefit, in my opinion. This blaster can take LiPo batteries, however, use at your own risk. I did use this blaster with a LiPo battery for the accuracy test and the chronograph testing, and I did want to warn you guys. After the usage for the chronograph and accuracy testing of this blaster, and shortly afterwards, this blaster actually ended up destroying itself. I've heard of some motors being burnt out, but for this particular Boxer Pro, it actually stripped some of the gears. Now, the feeding system, as you are using the blaster, does not spin while it is shooting, so it will not actually feed the belt through and shoot any darts, which is a major, major downside. So although it is cool that you can put a LiPo battery in here, I do not recommend it, especially for long periods of use. Again, use at your own risk. But that about wraps up my little talk about the battery compartment. So let's take it out to the chronograph and then the accuracy testing. I have a cool little video to show you, and then we will wrap up our final review. I will see you at the chronograph. What is up, everyone? We are now out with the Boxer Pro. And because this is a chain-fed flywheel blaster that shoots extremely fast, which will be demonstrated during the accuracy test, I will try to do one shot at a time I'll just do 5 little bursts because I know it will not just be one shot. And I will not be trying to do certain darts at certain times because it'll be a little too hard with how fast this blaster shoots, as you will see shortly. So let's get some FPS testing with just some normal worker darts, because most likely those are probably going to be the best darts to use in this blaster. So let's go for 5 little bursts. 182.6, 176.9. And just to show you that I am actually just once tapping the trigger really quickly, I'll actually do it on camera really fast. So if I just rev and squeeze really quick, that was 3 shots almost with just one slight tap. So I am just tapping it, but I think we got 2 more bursts. So let's see. 184.8 and final burst. 186.1. So this blaster, it does have a lipo in it right now, but that just shows that this thing is absolutely insane. It is hitting 180 FPS. I'm just tapping the trigger and it's just lighting off 4 rounds almost instantaneously. That is crazy, absolutely insane. So that just shows how fast this thing does shoot. But let's check how accurate this thing shoots. I'll see you at the target. All right, everyone. Here we are with the Boxer Pro at my pour target. I mentioned before that this thing's been taking a beating from a lot of different blasters, but none of the blasters that I have comes anywhere near this thing with the absolute number of just bullets this is going to send down range extremely, extremely fast. I actually was trying to decide how I wanted to test the accuracy of this blaster and then also show how fast it could shoot. And I figured, why not just do both at the same time? So I have a full 50 round chain loaded up completely. And I'm going to go 50 feet away and put all 50 and aim right at this target and see how many shots can hit this target. If you want, you could slow down the video to count. I'm just going to estimate how many I think hit at the end, but I'm really excited to see how well this thing does. So let's get right to it. This thing definitely is going to rip off shots fast. I think my buddy said he got through this belt in 7 seconds with a lipo, and I have a lipo in here right now. So I'm assuming this is going to go pretty quick. So you better keep your eyes open and not blink. Here we go. So as you could tell, there definitely was a jam in the belt itself when I shot off all of those rounds. But overall, the blaster was kind of hitting right around the target. It wasn't directly hitting on the target. I am actually kind of impressed with how well it did maintain that little circle right around the target itself. But for a store-bought blaster, I don't think this thing can get beat. There were 2 blasters that everyone was really excited for once this got released. And that was this right here, the Boxer Pro, and on top of that, the piston pump. People were trying to decide what would be the best. A lot of people were saying the piston pump because it's the only AEB that you can even buy in stores and for under $100, no less. But this right here, getting right through that belt in only a couple seconds, this might be Blaster of the Year, especially on some people's lists. It's not my favorite. I do like the piston pump a little bit more, but for in-store blasters, this might be blaster of the year. I'm not going to lie. This thing is absolutely insane. But let's talk about it a bit more inside. I will see you in the display room. What is up, everyone? Before we get back into the final wrap-ups of this blaster, I did want to quickly show you one of my favorite Nerf videos that I have to show people when I talk about the hobby. It is actually this blaster with a 3S lipo in it, which is actually the type of lipo that destroyed the internals of this blaster. But it is this blaster with a 3S lipo going through a 50-round belt in about 7 seconds. So it is a very short video, but it's a very cool one, and I did want to put it out there. I do really like this blaster, and again, if you don't put a lipo in here, especially something like a 3S, your Boxer Pro will most likely be fine. But we did round off some of the gears and internals of this blaster because it was too powerful for the plastic internals. So we will have to get some new replacement parts to try to get this thing working again. But I do really like this video, and I did want to show it to you guys. So before we get into the final wrap up, let's check out that video. So we are now back in the display room, and let's talk a little bit about the Boxer Pro. The main reason this blaster did not make my list is for the issue I mentioned earlier in the video. This blaster had the issue of the gears on this model stripping, and I have heard some other people say that the motors get burnt out if you use a lipo. Them having the XD30 in this blaster is very, very cool, and I think it is an awesome feature to add to the blasters. But having the fact that the blaster itself cannot actually take that, although yes, it does not come with a recommended lipo usage, having the connector kind of implied to me that you should, or that you could be able to do it. And now knowing that you can't, I did want to warn all of you as well. This blaster would have made it onto my recommended blasters for the year, but it only hit honorable mention because of the issues that I had. That being said, this blaster is completely broken, and it still made it to an honorable mention spot. The only reason why it is broken is because of me and my friends' misusage of the blaster. If we did not put in the lipo battery, this thing would probably be just fine. I did, however, want to put that out as a warning to be careful if you do decide to put a lipo battery in here. This blaster overall, though, is a really, really fun time. Hopefully you enjoyed that little tidbit of the video from us going through a full 50-round belt in around 7 seconds. It is absolutely insane how fast this thing does shoot with a lipo in. And I do really, really like this blaster. I did just have the issue of the gears wearing down after use because of the lipo battery. If you do have any questions about any blasters or any recommended videos you would like me to put out, please leave those in the comment section below. But this is JD Geek signing off. Have a good one.